A trip to visit family in Dallas ends with a deadly plane crash in East Texas. We're learning more about a plane crash that happened last month in Henderson County. Tonight, what investigators found inside the engine after a pilot reported oil on his windshield.
The NTSB says the flight started at Orlando Executive Airport, making stops in Defuniak Springs, Florida, and here in East Texas at the Center Airport. Family members say the pilot was traveling to visit relatives in the Dallas area. After leaving Center, the plane headed northwest toward Tyler. Soon after crossing Lake Palestine, the pilot contacted air traffic control, declaring an emergency, saying there was oil on the windscreen. He planned to land at Echo Lake Airport near Murchison. Investigators later found 2 holes in the engine crankcase, which serves as the body of the engine. During the emergency landing attempt, the plane hit pine trees and a utility pole, coming to rest east of the airport on the lawn of a nearby home, killing the pilot, Ron J. Timmermans, and his wife, Barbara. Timmermans was described by family as an active flight instructor in both Florida and Texas.
Investigators say a dog was also on board that plane and uninjured. The dog was pulled from the wreckage by a witness.